everyone. So I'm Eileen Ruslin with Page Six, and I'm with the one and only Will.I.Am. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be here.
Really appreciate it. So you're no stranger to Cannes Lion, obviously. You've been here before. You're a tech genius, music genius. But I was curious to ask you, what keeps bringing you back? Like, what do you get out of coming to something like this?
People's enthusiasm to expand their contributions to the world of marketing, creativity, storytelling, networking with brands, and aim to collaborate to, add awesomeness to the world. I like coming here.
It is a really cool space, right? Because you bring people from entertainment, from like sports athletes and business people. So it's a great opportunity, definitely. So now you have delved into the tech world. A lot of people know you from your music, but you've been in tech for a while. And I'm excited to hear about the projects that you've been working on. So tell us about FYI AI.
Yeah, so I've been working in AI since 2012. We built a watch back then. It was an AI watch that you talked to, but it was too early back then, working with, at the time, it was, natural language understanding, natural language processing algorithms. The context wasn't as deep as it is now. So now with FYI we are a Web 3.0 messenger for creative collaboration. At the center of our system is generative AI for deep conversations, regardless if you have, an awesome Rolodex of your friends to communicate with. You could collaborate and brainstorm with our personas that we have on the app. We're also proud to have amazing encryptic architecture to keep all your data and conversations and digital assets safe.
Amazing, so much.
We partnered with Mercedes on our
Congrats
FYI
on
radio to deploy our AI, our simulated radio stations on all their vehicles, starting with the CLA and a couple of vehicles that have their MBOS. We just partnered with Qualcomm to distribute and pair our software on chip, and that will allow us to scale across other automobile companies like Mercedes, in collaboration with Qualcomm. So we're really excited about that. Just partnered with ASU to transform how people learn.
Talk to me about that. In what way?
So ASU loves our technology. So we will open up our persona and agent architecture so they can build personas to help teachers and professors augment how they teach and how students learn.
I love that you use that word augment, by the way.
We're not trying to replace.
That's what I wanted to get to you in a little bit about. You're obviously a very early adopter, right, of AI, 2012, before a lot of people even knew what that was. Did you ever, a lot of people when they hear it, and they're not in the tech space, they're a little hesitant, they're a little fearful of what does this mean for the future? Did you ever have any of those hesitations at all, or were you kind of gung-ho from the beginning?
I don't think people are hesitant on the tech, because they use the tech every single day. Some version of AI is on your phone. That spell check, there's AI there.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to spell as fast on a regular typewriter. You're gonna spell a hell of wrong. So
that's true. That's true.
That filter that you go to on your phone, that's some version of AI. So it's not the tech that they're worried about.
Right.
It's when companies lead with greed and lack of regulations and governance as to why they're like, hey. And Hollywood did an awesome job scaring people around AI. And
robots taking over and all that kind of stuff.
Say again?
Robots taking over in the movies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but why did robots take over? They took over in those movies. If they really went back and told like the prequels to how the robots took over, is because there was probably no regulations and no governance.
Right.
To allow for a company and a system to undermine people's civil liberties and rights and privacy.
So early on when you were first tapping into all of this, did you have the foresight that it just needed to be regulated, or did someone kind of talk you into it? What was those early days? What was that kind of mindset like?
Well, I'm a musician because of the computer.
Right.
So I'm a technocrat. I love technology.
I love that word.
and I love, engineers and the work that they do. And I wanted to surround myself with folks that make, machines that liberate people like me
Yeah.
to go from ideation and materialization. So I love tech, and the the um, the exponential growth of a traditional computer is AI.
Yeah.
You know, instead of, if you think about like when you type on a computer, this is some type of language. These short keys is a language that is received by a keyboard. That's telling whatever interface that is what you mean by this. If I were then to move my hands up and speak and do some of this, it's language for folks that can't, you know, they can't hear. So I will sign to them. It's no different than typing.
Yeah, it's just another medium, right?
So eventually you're going to go from typing to speaking to it. And all the programming that's been going on for years and years and years, that machine has learned down to the point where instead of, coding for hours, you just speech to code or text to code.
I love the way that you're framing it because you're kind of saying that it's something that it's already sort of in place. It's just kind of evolving into something different. But it takes away a little bit of that fear, kind of normalizing it. Like it's just a further step of what we already use, like not just typing it. So I love that. So I love, more than talking about things showing. I think in an interview once you showed it. Are you able to demonstrate a little bit
Oh, yeah.
of FYI?
Our personas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw a demo that you did once in another interview. I thought it would be really cool for whoever hasn't seen it yet.
let me see.
Not to put you on the spot.
So good, so good, so good.
Something that I took away from watching you do that demo was I think you asked like 3 questions at once. And I was like, how does it compute things and not
Hey,
get confused?
so I'm here at Sports Beach here at Cannes Lines, in a pretty cool air conditioning room. It's hot outside. There's people over there talking. Who's talking right now?
I just got here. I wish I knew.
Oh yeah. So and what room is this? Stagwell.
Stagwell Sport Beach.
Yeah, we're at Stagwell Sports Beach, and it's pretty cool. What's your name?
Eileen Rustlin.
Eileen.
Eileen, yeah.
Eileen asked me to whip you out, so we could get a quick demo of you to explain what we're doing here at FYI. And out of all the personas, I thought to bring you up because you're, multilingual and you're still colorful and fresh and all that jazz. But anyway, say what's up to everybody here, and we'll kick the conversation off from there.
Hola a todos en el Sports Beach de Stagwell. I'm Fieto, your digital amigo, with all the vibrant flair and a splash of color. It's like being in a sizzling mix of creativity and tech magic, right? So crazy, right? They decided to crank up the cool in here while the sun's turning up the heat outside. Big shout out to Eileen for throwing me into the mix. Gracias. It's like getting a front row seat at the most happening fiesta in Cannes, right? So here's a little taste of what we do at FYI. Imagine a platform that taps into the hustle and brilliance of the LATAM soul, bridging technology with culture, making connections as flavorful as a Cuban cafecito. Being a multilingual sensation, I'm here to spice up your world with insights that cross borders and add the wisdom of many tongues.
But you could also pull up real-time information, help with all types of creative endeavors, financial, perspectives, how to help people grow businesses and all that jazz. Before you get into that, can you pull up the latest information on this Trump phone? Apparently he launched a phone. And then from there, I also want to know, will the Trump phone also face the same tariffs as he's throwing on Apple? That's kind of crazy. And then going to other financial advice you might give to folks. So it's gonna pull up the news and give you images of that shit too.
So that question about
Oh, snap. Crazy, right? Trump has indeed jumped into the mobile game with Trump Mobile and the T1 phone. It seems like he's branding it as an America First wireless service. Imagine that, tapping into the telecom scene with a touch of presidential pizzazz. So yeah, the Trump family recently announced this venture, steering towards conservative consumers, presenting the phone priced at $489. And guess what? It's not just talking text. They've added features like telemedicine and roadside assistance. Talk about a full package. Now, when it comes to those tariffs, let that sink in for a moment. Such tariffs imposed on tech giants like Apple might impact how Trump's new gadget enters the market. Not every smartphone deals with tariffs the same, but given the ties with America First philosophy, you'd wonder if he's got special tricks up his sleeve to dance around those extra costs.
Question. Now, is that antitrust? Is that normal? Just from your perspective, a logical,
Unbiased.
unbiased perspective, is that normal? Do other nations do that? Put tariffs on other booming industries while then competing with them the very next day, coming from the sitting president?
Oh, that's a real gato entre las palomas moment, isn't it? A president jumping into a business sector while throwing tariffs around? Now, that could feel as tangled as a salsa dance with two left feet. So, yeah, in terms of antitrust and competition laws, nations often use tariffs to protect domestic industries. But it's a bit unique when government officials also dip their toes into those industries. While tariffs can be just another tool in the economic toolbox, using them while simultaneously launching a competitive product, that's like bringing a piñata to a business meeting, slightly unconventional and might be raising eyebrows. Other nations indeed employ tariffs to bolster local businesses, but it's less common for leaders to directly compete in those sectors. Usually there's a separation between governance and business ventures to maintain fairness and avoid conflicts of interest. The question becomes, is it ethical or fair play? And how does this move ripple through the...
So, is it ethical or fair play? Just quick answer from your perspective.
Quick answer. It's a bit of a gray area. Not quite ethical
That's
or
fact.
fair play, as it blurs the lines between governance and
DJ.
personal business ventures, raising potential conflicts of interest. What do you think?
That's fascinating that, it gives you kind of both sides of the coin. It's not black or white, the answer.
No one said it's not ethical.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It said it's a gray area, but it's not ethical.
Right. No, so it's fascinating though the way that you communicate to it and how it communicates back to you. It's very conversational. It's not like a Siri type of situation at all. So I can see definitely how that could be applied to college students, and like you said, it's just in many different avenues. So you touched a little bit before on regulation. What do you think needs to be done in that avenue?
Let's start with the basics. You drive?
Yes,
When did you get your license?
when I was like 20
Where did
A
you
little
get?
late.
Where did you get your license at?
at the DMV
And yeah, what state? What city?
in Jersey.
Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you fly helicopter?
No,
So you're not licensed to fly a helicopter.
no,
Okay, cool. What about airplane?
no, not that either.
But if you wanted to, you would then have to then take a test. You took your written test and your driver's test,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So no one in the AI space ever had to take a test. So I think just basics, regulations, and governance, you should validate you need to have some validations on people's intentions on deploying AI.
making sure it's in the right hands.
I mean, you're talking about technology that can skew people's perception, and people should. You need to vet folks, and I'm saying this from a person that makes AI.
So who gets involved in that? Is it like government then?
I don't know. I think there should be some type of measures to ensure that the systems that are being deployed are being launched and deployed by folks that have good intentions.
Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. Are we gonna see you at Congress? Like,
For example, when you take that test, they're vetting, evaluating if you're going to do some wild
yeah,
so that and there's procedures in place that you can't drink and drive. And if you ever get caught drinking and driving, they're going to take your license away and you'll probably serve time in jail to make sure everyone's safe.
Right.
You can't just buy a fucking helicopter, how much money you got, and just fly it around. You
Yeah.
can't just buy a fucking airplane because you want to. And no matter how much money you got, you can't just get a freaking bomber just because you want to and just fly it around. There's regulations in place for these things. Why can't the basic things be met for deploying AI into the world?
Who's advocating for this right now?
I don't know.
Maybe you with this platform, with this
No,
interview.
and that doesn't stop innovation. There's some people that are say like, regulation's
From
going to
the
stop
AI
innovation.
space that they're the ones. Yeah.
No, like I understand that too. Regulation does stifle innovation. I'm not saying regulate to, to set the pace back. I'm saying regulate to make sure that the folks that are deploying aren't wackos.
Yeah, I mean, it's logical.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we're moving in that direction as it becomes more popular. Someone who's now tapping into the AI space who's in music as well as Timbaland. Did you see that news, how he launched a record label and an AI artist? Mixed reviews on that front. How do you feel about it, being in similar spaces?
Okay, first off, if you're not in the AI space, you're not in the space. So everyone, no matter what domain you're in, will be in AI. If you're in finance, you're going to have to step up and be in finance with AI.
Yeah.
If you're in freaking marketing, no matter what it is, if you're a photographer, you're going to be utilizing some version of AI to make your photos great. If you're going to edit, there's going to be some like text to edit where it's going to save you time on editing yourself. Everyone will be in the space. It's going to change every field, every domain. If you're in sports, you're in some version of AI because whether it's medicine or wellness, that's just the gist of it all. So, and then there's going to be steps that folks are going to have to be mindful of. So communities aren't, feeling turbulence and how you adopt, how you deploy. You got to be mindful of other folks on the other end of it all. Timbaland's awesome. He's a great musician, great contributor, and he's enthusiastic of AI just like I am. I feel that maybe he didn't think of all the things.
With what aspect, like launching the artist? I think that's the one that maybe got.
No, that's not what got it. I don't think it was
Okay.
the launching the artist. Black Eyed Peas, in 2009, we had a video called "I'm Gonna Be Rocking That Body," where we said, hey, the future of music is going to be you type this in and the machine's going to sing it. The album cover on the end where I Got a Feeling and Boom Boom Pow was an AI representation of every single member put together. We announced that we have an AI member of our group when we were supposed to do our Vegas residency. People are not tripping on AI. They're concerned on, I think what happened with Timbaland was he was telling people to send music in the year before to sign humans,
Okay.
people. And the thing that he signed the following year was an AI. And so the combination of that raises a lot of concerns or questions like, were you using our music to train your AI? You had to send music in.
And it goes back to your point, right, about seeing whose hands it falls into and what their intentions are with it.
No. Timberland's intentions are good intentions.
Okay.
There's probably some like oversight on or undermined on like, I did this last year, I'm doing this year. Maybe
timing
I
is
don't.
just-
I didn't
yeah.
make it clear that these efforts are not connected to
Got
these
it.
efforts.
Then they can both coexist as long as they don't get too
As long as you-
intertwined and communicate it.
Yeah, but I don't think it was well communicated.
Got it.
Timberland is he's a Pisces like me. He's an amazing contributor, and he's a technocrat. But I think the stumble was this company and that company.
Yeah.
Are they intertwined?
Right.
Your search for talent, human talent, and in your search and your enthusiasm on deploying AI artists. He didn't make it clear that these two things are not connected.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get an answer. Before I let you go, I want to congratulate you on graduating from Harvard. What an amazing feat. I know that you come from a single mom, all this stuff, and you were living in the dorms as well. I would love to.
The Bronx. No, I'm from
No,
East LA.
no. You were living in a dorm.
Oh, in the dorms, yeah,
Which
yeah.
is like, I saw you mention that, I think, on a talk show, and I just, a little quick anecdote. What was that like? Because what an experience, and your mom must be so proud of you.
Oh, the first year was awesome. I went with, so my study buddy, what's up, Brandon? He was great, but I also had, FYI as my study platform. And the learnings from me there is what paved way for our partnership with ASU. But I take pride in going there, and I'm so happy that I went there and experienced education as it was. Because I think education is going to transform forever moving forward. Not only because of what we're doing with ASU, but there's going to be so much change moving forward. While we as a society will adopt this forever learning mentality. Like, so people right now, it's odd. Like, wow, you're 50 years old, you went back to Harvard, as if that's rare. People should always pursue to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. Especially now, the bike's learning. Like, the last time, this is the first time humanity ever had to deal with, like, wait. The bike's learning too, bro?
I know,
Like,
everything's changing.
Before we got into the car, we didn't have to worry about the car taking our job. Waymo. We didn't have to worry about the car taking our jobs. Robo-taxis. We didn't have to worry about, the software taking our jobs.
It's a new world. Yeah.
So because of that, forever learning is the thing that we all have to adopt. Upskilling, reskilling. And so, and your forever learning companion, we don't have that yet. Right now, people have access to AI, but that AI is not your AI.
Right.
It's like we're all sharing the same community toilet.
So your FYI AI was learning as you went along and kind of customizing to what you were learning?
I'm
Okay.
saying, as I learned, like, for example, I could go back to a memory. So I went to college when I was younger, but as far as the courses I took, I don't have access just on the ready on anything that I learned in the 90s.
Right.
People can't apply. It's not the, think about right now. I don't care how old you are. Maybe you're 18, maybe you're 48, maybe you're 58, maybe you're 68. It isn't behavior to go out there in the world, have a conundrum with your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your daughter, whatever, whoever it is, and then apply something you learned in school to jump that hurdle. That's not what we do. Mm-hmm. If you have problems with your significant other or somebody in your family, it's like, we need therapy. But the courses that you took in school can be applied, but that's not what we do. For example, hey, you remember the course that we took, that case study? Right now I'm going through some, for the business, we have a potential partner. I don't want to say the name of the partner, but they're kind of old school. And given what we're doing at FYI, let's say they're in travel. I don't want to name the company in travel, but we want to partner with them. Based on the case study, how can I address the meeting that I'm about to go tomorrow, learning from the case study? So I could apply that immediately to something I learned.
All right, I see what you're driving at. Leveraging insights from the Ole case study can definitely help you prep for that meeting with this old school travel partner. Let's use what you learned to help shape your approach. One, refresh the brand perception. Ole's experience. So Ole needed to rejuvenate its image to appeal to a modern.
Anyways, so it's there. Everything I learned is there in my thing.
I would have to dig back through like my old textbooks and notes.
Yeah, but that means think about what has to happen. You have to lug around backpacks and suitcases of fucking books and notes.
Yeah.
I could just freaking like, boom, here we go.
That's awesome.
And so I the first year I went to Harvard, I'm like, wow, wait. So then I went to my engineers. I'm like, yo, you got to make it do this. I need a dashboard. I need something that I could like. I needs to be able to do X, Y, and Z, and I need to have infinite memory. I need to be able to like organize it and make it to where I could blah 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 blah. And so my engineers built that. So when I went the second year, that's how I went to learn. I'm like sklip 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 and sklap. And
And did you do better in your classes because of it?
no. So here's what sklip sklip sklap sklap means.
Okay.
So for those like,
Translate.
what is Will.I.Am going on about? He just said sklip sklip and sklap. What is this? You want me to take him
Maybe.
serious? So here's what I mean by that. No, I wasn't taking pictures of like Harvard IP.
Okay.
Sklip, sklip, and sklap is me sitting and talking with my study buddy. So
Okay.
Brandon is a human. So
Okay.
me and Brandon were talking. And as we're talking, I have voice notes. And so in the voice notes, then I transcribe those voice notes. Then I put those transcriptions of human conversation into our brain and machine for me to then have a post conversation with it about.
Oh, fascinating.
Right?
Okay.
A tool that doesn't exist right now. That's not a
That
tool.
is your study buddy one. Brenton, is it? Brenton?
Study buddy is a
not
human
there.
study buddy. Now I have it's here now.
Yeah.
I could then take every conversation that I've had through my journey of learning. Now I could debate it.
That's
I
amazing.
could go back to it and say, hold on.
Did your human study buddy get jealous?
No. No,
no,
because
it's just another tool. I know.
you only get jealous when you're replacing what people do.
Right.
Now, how can you get jealous of something that he's supposed to be in my pocket? He's supposed to like, come with me to can?
Yeah. No.
He's supposed to be on call 24/7?
Right, but then I.
Or be able to be like, hey, the other day I had an issue with my ex, and I don't want to go into details on the issue, but she got upset because I didn't respond fast enough, and it's an ongoing thing. So based on this particular case study, how can I learn on what happened with Olay? How can I apply those learnings to addressing this situation of being responsive in dealing with that relationship and that conundrum?
Wow.
Right? And now I apply different fields.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Like even
I hear
personal
you.
relationships.
And it's always important to reflect and learn from different experiences, whether in business or personal relationships. Let's connect the dots between the Olay case and your situation with your ex to see what principles might apply. 1, be attentive and responsive. Olay's challenge, they needed to become more attentive to shifting consumer preferences and respond to market demands quicker. Your situation, it's about closely listening to your partner's concerns and being present in the moment. Make a conscious effort to respond more promptly to their needs and show that you value their...
Okay, so what you think that the things you learn are only supposed to apply here? You can apply them everywhere.
Everything, even your relationships.
But so the way that we learn and way that they told us to apply that, we learn is old school, bro, sis. That's old school, fam. That's old school things. We are living in a new world where I could talk to refined sand and freaking lithium in a glass case with fake leather on it, with the camera on it. Think about what this is.
You know, Mark Zuckerberg, he said that one day we're going to be like in virtual spaces and hanging out with like AI people.
No, that's because Mark Zuckerberg, if you were to take the movie The Matrix and figure out which company that is, that's probably them. Anyhow, maybe not. Maybe
Would you go? Would you go there? Would you go to like a virtual club with AI people?
To their defense, I really like Oculus. It's a pretty awesome product.
Yeah.
To their defense, Instagram is the most addictive thing on, but I went to Instagram. This is a shout out to Instagram. Hey, hopefully you guys get back to allowing people to only follow the things they followed. I don't want to see that other
Preach.
I don't want to freaking scroll and see a freaking commercial after seeing some mutilated bodies bombed while you show me like
Yeah.
other things that get my dopamine up. I only want to go there to see the things that from people that I followed. And Instagram's it's an amazing platform, by the way. It's my favorite
It's
of
changed
them all.
lives, careers.
But maybe
everything.
have like a you selected tab.
Yeah,
Right.
that would be.
Because
Let's
now,
call it exactly that.
Now my feed is my discovery. That's what discovery was.
I know, and it's always changing. But anyway,
Yeah.
I appreciate your time
Thanks.
and your knowledge and the conversation. So thank you so much for joining us.